Hello everyone, good morning, and I'm here to share something very interesting with you, a tip about how to make any goal possible in life. And you must have seen my previous video where I've shared, how to break down your bigger goals into smaller ones, smaller tasks. So maybe that can act as a tip here as a starting point, but how to make any goal possible in life. First step is assess your goal. So you need to really assess that whether it's your goal, that's something you want to achieve, or is it something that you want people to feel happy about, or you are doing it for just for the sake of something, right? Not for your own happiness. So that's something you should assess your goal and then break it down into multiple tasks. You must have seen my previous video, or you go back to my previous video and see how you need to break it down, and then you start on that task. The second would be, of course, finding the basics that you need to achieve that goal to the maximum, to something like what will be the most difficult thing that will be needed today to achieve that goal, or tomorrow to achieve that goal. And what is the basic that I have? Suppose you want to start something, so what is the basic do I have to start, and can I start with that? So when you write down these, it should be everything. It should be finances, it should be your time, it should be your resources, it should be, suppose you want to start some small business, then do you have a place to start? Something like that. So assess that. So when you do these kind of assessment, most of your things will fall in place when you're doing this, assessing your goal. And second tip is about finding out your basics to your maximum resources that are needed to achieve that goal. And when you do that, you will come across a lot of things, and you will already filter it out. What is the basic that you have today? So basic is what you need, and then see what you have today to start that. The third is, of course, putting something like, when can you start? When can you do it? Can you do it today? Can you do it in 2 months? So think about that timeline. And also with this comes the fourth tip about putting a timeline to your goal, that when do you want to achieve it? So without a timeline, it is always a never ending story. Like, it is always an ocean. You will just keep finding the end to it, but that's not always the goals are. So if you really want to achieve your goal or make it something possible, there should be a timeline. I'm not asking you to put a date, but put a timeline, or at least put months, put years, whatever you feel like. Put it that. Try putting that. And then comes an emotion part. So how will you really feel? This is my touch to it, but again, it comes most in part of, like, emotions cannot be measured, but something is like, how will you really feel when you achieve that goal? Now, most of us will write and think, I'll feel happy if I achieve something, right? Of course, we feel happy, but break down your emotions and think. Breaking down is like, think in detail, how will you really feel? You'll be crying, or most of you can also associate with your parents, with your friends cheering out for you, with something, people talking about you, or something about that your relatives are sitting and saying something very great about you, or you have done something really exceptional. I'm not saying go for others' perception here. The logic here is that imagine that situation, how will you feel? So instead of just writing feeling happy, feeling great, feeling top of the world, just break it down and then see how you really feel about your goal. Because one important thing I've felt always, when you associate your emotions to something great you want to do in life, it automatically starts building, or something starts pushing it to happen. So I'm not saying, I'm not talking about something big things. I'm talking about something very smaller. So associating your emotions, or saying about you'll be loving to see how your parents feel about it. These emotions really put a passion or kickstart that journey of doing it, and you will also feel like doing it. So live that emotion when you are putting your emotion down. And then, of course, as we said, can you do it today? If you can do it today, say yes or no. And if you can do it today, even if it's 5 minutes to that, do it. That's the key. So somewhere I have also linked this to a SMART goal. Most of you must have heard about this terminology, which is called as SMART, but I'm a little bit not exactly on that line. But what I'm trying to say here is each and every goal is SMART, but the emotional twist is my twist with the measured part of it. In SMART, there is a line which says measurable. So for me, when you measure it this way, financially, everything can be measured, of course, but there are something which are non-tangible, and emotions are one thing. So try putting it in that context and see, what did it do to you? Were you able to do something? Did you find any hiccups, or did you find any hurdles in doing that? And what were those? So share your feedback with me. I am glad, and I'm looking forward to hear it from you. So all the best.